There is a fairly common question active among the religious, particularly Protestants, and it is this: why does being Lutheran matter anymore? How is being Lutheran at all relevant to our increasingly secular world? And it becomes even more complicated as we don't necessarily say anymore that being Lutheran is about a particular style of worship or a particular list of hymns. We are Lutherans, not just because we are stubborn, but because the theology that has been passed down from Luther to Melanchthon, from German Lutherans to American Lutherans, from the Book of Concord to the ELCA, is incredibly relevant to the world we live in. Let's lay out some of our tradition so you can see why what we've got is something that should never be lost. The first is living with grace. Look at the world around you. Are the good being rewarded and the bad suffering? Not even close. Martin Luther once said that a theologian of glory, what we might call a theologian of what we want to hear, will call good evil and evil good. But a theologian of the cross, that is a person that allows their experiences to filter into their faith, calls a thing what it actually is. Lutherans call it as it is. We know we don't have all the answers. We know sometimes we pray and we don't receive the answers that we want. We know that sometimes good, faithful people have a really hard time. We don't have to make excuses. We can simply say that just as God was fully present with Christ on the cross, so too is God fully present with us wherever we go. We just might not understand it. We are one of the few traditions that can be comfortable with grays rather than black and white. Next is that we are reformers, not reformed. We know that in a changing world that God is still speaking. That what works for you might not work for me, and that is okay. We need to regularly look at who we are, the words that we use, and the God that has claimed us, and not trap that God in the past, but allow that God to continue to be active in the present. We are reforming, not reformed. Now remember those grays? How is this for one? We are simultaneously saint and sinner. We have been made holy through God, but we are still screw-ups. Let's just go ahead and admit that. A teacher of mine used to say, we go to sleep every night thinking we have drowned the old Adam, that we have put the worst behind us. But every morning we wake up and learn that that jerk has learned how to dog paddle. We are a work in progress, never there. We are people of forgiveness, for we are sinners and saints. The next is incredibly simple, but hard to hold on to. We cannot earn salvation. You can't. God gave you everything. How would you begin to pay that back? You can't. Grace through faith saves, not works. Grace is freely given, not earned. Does this mean you should stop doing good? Absolutely not. It just changes your good deeds from have to get to. The last one has to do with all of you. We think that everyone is a leader. I know, call us crazy. But God has a calling for each and every person. It is not just about the pastor, but it is about the priests, what we refer to as the priesthood of all believers. You know what happens when just one person tries to do everything? They usually get burned out. But you know what happens when we all work together? We change the world. Lutherans have faith built to change the world. Why in the world would we want to lose that?
Created using Powtoon.